Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mama Wears Athleisure. I am your host, Mariela de Santiago, a first-time mom. We focus on all things mom with tips to help make life easier and more organized for all you mamas out there. All right. Hi, Ari. Thank you for joining us today. Let's go ahead and start off with having you share a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we'll dive into learning you're pregnant.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to do this. So my name is Ari. I'm 32. We're having our first baby boy. We're due on Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day baby. It's going by very fast. My husband and I live in California in San Jose. We're originally from Boston, Mass. It's been an exciting time so far.
Well, as you can tell, I have my little one here because he didn't want to take a nap. And if I leave him alone, he will let me know that he's not very happy with me. He's not the nicest boss sometimes.
It's all good. He's our VIP for the day. I love it.
Yes. I would love to have you share about learning that you're pregnant, and then we can talk a little bit about what changes, because I don't feel like you really realize how much you have to give up until you're actually in it and you're like, wait, what? I have to give that up.
So true. Okay. Yeah. So I'll start with, how we found out. So it was over the summer in June. We had been trying for a few months, and kind of how it typically starts. I was late for a few days. So my husband and I figured, okay, something might be going on. But of course, perfect timing. He had to go back to the East Coast for a trip. I was staying in California. We didn't take the test or anything yet. We are going to do it once he got back, if still hadn't gotten my period. And so every day he's away, he's checking in, any updates, I was like, no, not yet. It was killing him because while he was back home, he hung out with a couple of our really good friends who there was at least two of them told him that they were pregnant. And so he knew inside that we were probably pregnant, but he's like, I can't say anything yet. So anyways, it was a wild weekend for him. I finally decided I wanted to take a test and figure out before he got back to California, because if we were pregnant, I really just wanted to do something cute for him. So sure enough, took the test, took a few. They were all very pregnant very quickly, which was amazing. So I just had myself and our two dogs here to just kind of go crazy with for a couple nights. He was getting back in on I think a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and I got the dogs bandanas. We have a girl and a boy dog. So one said big sister, the other said big brother. I put the bandanas on and had them waiting at the door for when he got back, had the pregnancy test on the counter, and just kind of sat there, let him come in, couldn't say anything, just immediately started bawling. And he was like, what is going on? But then, he quickly realized what was going on. And it was a great night. Super happy. Lots of hugs, lots of tears.
I love that you did the bandanas, because we did the bandanas too, but I think I had told you this before. I had ordered them on Amazon, and I was driving, and my husband was using my phone to navigate, but I get the little alerts from Amazon whenever something is delivered. So he saw the alert. We had a couple of our neighbors with us that we were dropping off. So he didn't say anything until we drove off. And he's like, so is there something you need to tell me?
Classic.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that whole, I totally get what you mean by like, you wanted to take the test with him, but then at the same time, you didn't want to because you wanted to surprise him. So it's kind of this like battle of like, well, do I let him experience that with me, or do I like want to just like do something really cute? I don't know.
It ended up working out. I like looking back on it, I realized for whatever reason, I felt like it was nice to just have the moment for myself first, because, as the woman carrying the child, you go through a lot physically, emotionally, all the above. I mean, the husband's as well, but it's different when you're the one carrying. So I think it was just a cool experience to just have that moment for myself. When it came back positive, I was like, okay, this is going to change, but this is amazing. This is what we were hoping for. And then do something cute and fun when he got back.
And I don't think that men, it's not as real for them as it is for us during those 9 months, because they're not going through the physical changes that we are, like heartburn. Or I can't sleep on my belly now, and I can't get comfortable because I can't turn.
Mm-hmm. Or I can't bend over and shave my legs in the shower. Yeah.
There's so many things, and I remember when I took my test, I had called the doctor, to make an appointment, Well, first of all, I said, I need to come in to make sure that I'm pregnant. And then they said, I'm not joking. They said, well, did you take a pregnancy test? I was like, yeah. Well, was it positive? Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and schedule your first appointment. That's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. That they did the same with me. I was like, okay, so
Like,
all
it
right,
can't.
we're jumping right in here.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
like, wait, it can't be like a false positive. Oh, oh, well, all right. I guess we're just gonna go into this. Like, I'm clearly very pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. They just got, yeah, my doctor did the same thing. They just said, come in, got right into the ultrasound, there was a baby in there. It's like, okay, so there's no confirmation. You're just gonna, take me at my word and my pregnancy test.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So let's talk about what we have to give up. So obviously, any sort of substance like alcohol or smoking, right? We all know that. What were some things that were surprising for you?
I don't know if it was necessarily surprising, but I kind of relearned after I got pregnant that I could not have deli meats. Some moms, especially if they've had more than one kid, they're like, you can have one or two sandwiches. It's not going to kill you. But since it's our first, I've been trying to be as strict and stick to what my doctor recommends as possible. So yeah, the deli meat thing, because that's literally been my only craving this entire time, still to this day, is a cold turkey sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
It's driving me crazy. It's all I want. I know I could probably have one, but I think you and I were talking about this not long ago. There was like a listeria outbreak or something because of deli meat. So
So
you can
stay
never,
away.
yeah, you can never be too careful. So that was definitely one. Fish, we definitely get more into fish in our house. We stay a little bit more away from red meat. So the fish, like specific fish that I can't eat, was interesting. I had to kind of like look that up, which like swordfish, shark. There's some other types that, I mean, we don't eat a ton, but the swordfish, for example, sushi, which I kind of already knew about. The seafood piece, before I order something or eat something, I'm always just double checking to make sure, the levels of mercury or whatever they say could be in that. Yeah, those are some of the biggest ones. And then I would say the last big one that I've kind of had to check myself on is the caffeine. Obviously we can drink coffee to some extent. There's some like recommendations how much or how little you should drink. But what I didn't realize is how caffeine is also in other foods like chocolate and some other things that I love to eat. So I've had to do a little bit of reading up on that, just to make sure I'm not way overdoing it during a day. So that one was a little bit surprising because I honestly, you think, like soda and coffee, you think those are the biggest sources of caffeine, but there's a little more to it than that. So just took some more learning, some more time.
For me, it was the massage. The
Mm.
massages. Oh, I love massages, but once you're pregnant, they definitely change. And
Yeah.
you have to lay on your side and the pressure's not. I love the hard pressure. So I'm like, go ahead, put your elbow in there, get that knot out. Yeah, that's no longer the case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so I'm a physical therapist, and so yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was another big one I had to kind of check myself on. Even early on at the beginning, we were scheduled for I think like a couples massage or something. So I had to look in and figure out, can I do this? And if I can, like where should I go? How do I know someone's qualified to give a massage? And what positions can I be in? What can't I? So yeah, that's a good one.
I just never thought that you would have to like disclose that information. There's also the
Yeah.
hot tubs, steam room, sauna.
Yeah, exactly. Hot baths. Yeah.
Yeah. I started to take a thermometer. I love baths and I loved them even more while I was pregnant because it just really helped kind of relax me. But I had to always take a thermometer to check my bath water temperature because I love warm, hot baths.
I would say, the other thing, so live concerts, we can obviously still go, but I remember there was one recently my husband and I went to. It was like a big, like a holiday work party. And I realized we were standing like not right up at the stage, but like kind of close. It was outdoors, so it wasn't, too loud or too crazy, but there was a speaker not too far from us. And so I could feel the baby like tumbling around in there, kicking. And I was like, oh, wait, do we need to be worried about like the sound level, the noise level? Like what's going on here? Talked to my doctor after just to double check it. And, I was of course freaking out. Like, did I do anything wrong? She's like, no, as long as you don't go to concerts every day and stand right up at the stage in the mosh pit, you're fine. But basically the point is like all of those little things, kind of like you were talking about, that are just like in life, were just normal, that we would just, get up and go to or experience or eat. I found myself having to like pause for a moment and be like, okay, is this good? Is this going to be good for the baby before moving forward?
Yeah, you definitely have to kind of question and like check yourself, even with
Exactly.
something that just that is not very obvious. Like like I said, I just would have never thought that a massage would have been an obvious thing that you have to think about. I mean, you've always heard about caffeine. For me, oh, and the heartburn. I had really bad heartburn every day starting at
Ah,
4 o'clock.
not fun. Not
No,
fun.
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
having it.
I luckily have not dealt with that, but definitely like the breathing. I don't know if you've experienced this, but certain positions lying down, like if I'm too flat, if my head's not elevated, if I'm too much on my back, I can just feel like the pressure from the baby and just whatever else. I can tell that breathing starts to become a little bit more difficult. So I just have to adjust my position a bit, but especially at night, like when I'm lying down, have to stack the pillows a little bit and try to find a position that works. That's been a thing for sure.
I'm glad that you mentioned breathing because that actually takes me to my next one, working out. I worked out up until the day Luciano came, and I worked out pretty aggressively prior to. So I still kind of kept up with what I was doing. I did boot camps, I did running, I actually got my yoga certification while I was pregnant. So when I was 6 months, I earned my certification, but it gets harder. You realize you are really slow.
Mhm, mhm. Oh my
What's been
gosh.
your experience with that? Because you're pretty fit, and I know that you guys are very active and do a lot of outdoor activities.
Yeah, I think just over time, as the baby grows and my belly grows, my center of mass has totally shifted. So I've noticed a couple things, whether it's, on the Peloton or just outside walking or hiking. Like I've had to slow it down for sure to get the breathing a little bit more in control. Yeah, just like the overall balance, like physically having to be extra careful with the steps I take because I just feel more unbalanced more easily, which has been something to get used to for sure. And then for me, luckily, back pain and stuff hasn't been too much of a problem, but for sure, the longer we go for a walk or a hike or something, I can just feel like because of the weight pulling me forward, I can feel pressure absolutely like on my back and hips and stuff. So I kind of have to reset and really think about trying to brace my core a little bit, or sometimes I'll wear like my belly band that I got. I was adamant. I was like, I'm not going to need any of that. I'm going into this pretty strong. I know what I'm doing, but it's a whole new experience the bigger you keep getting.
Yeah, I had read a lot about the back pain. So as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, I'm like, I'm going to strengthen this. So
Mhm.
I did a lot of lower back exercises, and I think that helped. I was very fortunate. I didn't have, I would say that my pregnancy was very easy and calm and relaxing. Can't say
Yeah.
the same about my delivery, but you can't have it both ways, right? Like
Yeah. That's what I hear. Yep.
the working out, I feel like it's so crazy how you can go from being this super active fit person to literally struggling to run
Yeah.
5 miles an hour.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I would say the biggest thing I've learned, which I'm going to take with me for sure after he's born, but is just to listen to your body. Just listen to your body, slow it down. Baby will tell you when it's time to just chill and not push it too much. Yeah, setting those limits and kind of modifying has been definitely a challenge, but learning more as we go.
I want to ask you if you've done anything to kind of help you prepare for whether it's the delivery or anything to kind of ease any of your, whether it's pain or symptoms or whatever it is that you are feeling. Like I know some people will see a PT for like pelvic floor stuff or the breathing classes.
For the physical parts, I guess I'm fortunate to have the physical therapy background. But that being said, I am in no way like a pelvic floor or women's health specialist. So I've absolutely reached out to a couple of my girlfriends where that is their specialty. And so I've gotten some really great tips, as far as just general like core stability, pelvic floor exercises that are really easy to do throughout the day. So absolutely doing that. For my work, I do a lot of computer work and sitting. And so I've been really cognizant about getting up and not sitting whenever possible. That's really, really helped, I think, like my back and just overall well-being, just to get up, go outside, take the dogs for a walk and not just sit at a computer all day. I think that would add to me going crazy. But then the other one, actually, I did just sign up, both my husband and I, for a series of a bunch of classes. So breastfeeding, newborn care class, delivery prep class, postpartum health class. So there's like a series of classes through my doctor that they offer to me, which sounds like they're going to be helpful. So looking forward to those.
I didn't really look into any of those, and I kind of wish that I had because oh my gosh, there is so much. I mean, you learn a lot as you go, and I don't know that any amount of research or reading that you do can really prepare you.
Yeah.
because every child is so different, and your body might not react the same way as anyone else's, or your delivery might not be like what you're expecting it to be. So there's just so much, but it is really nice to at least have like a little bit of knowledge and background. You mentioned that breastfeeding. I really wish I had taken a class on that. Oh my goodness, it's a full-time job itself.
Yeah, just the thought of it is overwhelming for sure. But honestly, I have to give like you and like my other girlfriends and family members credit, because you guys are the reason why I've learned so much of what I have and learned that there's classes like this. Like one of my girlfriends just took a class all about, like breastfeeding, and then she took another one on prepping for delivery and stuff. So that made me think, oh, I wonder, if my doctor has something like that. So I reached out, and sure enough, they had a whole series. So I don't know if I could have gotten through this whole thing as relaxed and as easy as I have so far without my people around me. And there's a handful of women right now that are actually pregnant with me, which has been like a godsend. I think the more people you can surround yourself with and lean on to help you as you go throughout this journey, the better.
Wise words. That is really true. It's so helpful to have other friends that have either already experienced this or that are going through this with you, because you learn so much, even just with two friends. Both of their experiences are so different. So you're going to learn some sort of new information from each of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Ari, do you have any other tips, suggestions? And you get to see how much they move as they're 8 months. He has not sat still.
He's the best. I do actually, so I don't forget, as a recommendation from a girlfriend, there's a book, and I don't know if you've heard of this. So an author, I guess she's had 2 books now, at least, that both my husband and I have read that I found super helpful. I have it right here. I know you can probably see it.
I have that one. Expecting Better. Yes.
Yeah. Expecting Better. So the author is Emily Oster, and then she does another one. I don't know if you read her other one called Crib Sheet.
Yes, we have it.
Yeah.
We haven't read it, but we have it.
Yeah. So the Expecting Better is all through pregnancy. And then the Crib Sheet is basically what comes after. So once baby's born and everything you could think about for preparing and making decisions. I love her because her background, she's an economist. The way she approaches her decisions, she takes in all of the data. She looks up all of the research, everything her doctor says, and she makes like a really calculated, informed decision with everything to do with her pregnancy or the baby after birth. I've just absolutely loved like her approach to how she sees these things and makes decisions. It seems like a much more doable way to take in all of this insane amount of information you get and try to figure out what the best decision is for you and your little one. But yeah, so her name's Emily Oster, and I've absolutely loved her book so far. So for sure would recommend them.
I don't know if you just noticed that he literally just threw up while you were sharing all of that. Yeah.
Amazing. So cute.
Get ready. But he doesn't seem upset about it.
He's fine.
that book is really good. It's super informative. I loved that everything was backed up by data, with the caffeine, for example, where she kind of talked about what the reasonings were for the recommendations, or, why some studies haven't been done, which a lot of that makes sense. Like, for example, with alcohol, you can't have pregnant women sign up to do a study to see what the effects are if they drink alcohol. Like that, it would be
not the most
horrible.
Ethical.
The consensus is just don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to share with all of us, and for letting my little one be a part of this
anytime. He was the star of this. Anytime.
Such a star. He wanted to give us a show by letting us know that he had to go ahead and throw up whatever was in his belly this morning.
I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode. You can find us on Instagram for more updates and tips. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, and give us a review if you like us.